I'm professional poker player Nicky Numbers, and I'm going to tell you how to be a loose poker player. Well, it's actually very easy to be a loose poker player. A loose poker player just means that it's someone who plays a lot of hands. The greater the frequency with which they play hands voluntarily, the looser they are. The fewer hands they play, the tighter they are. To be a loose player, all you have to do is play a lot more hands than you already do. The loosest you could possibly be would be to play every single hand pre-flop. However, that would make it impossible to win. If you never fold, you can't win. What that means is that you have to be selectively loose in order to be a good loose player. So there's two types of loose. There's just loose, where you're just playing any hands, and then there's selectively loose, where you're playing specific hands for specific reasons. You want to be selectively loose if you're going to be a loose player, where you're not just playing any two cards that you're dealt, you're playing specific hands in specific situations. There's also another form of loose, and that has to do with your level of aggression or passivity. You can be loose aggressive, or you could be loose passive. You want to be loose aggressive. Loose aggressive players can do very well when playing No Limit Hold'em. If you're going to play loose, you want to play loose aggressively, because loose aggressive players have the opportunity to do very well. They're constantly putting their opponents to meaningful decisions by taking aggressive actions, by betting, by raising. When they're playing hands, they're often the aggressor. Loose passive, on the other hand, involves still playing a lot of hands and perhaps playing them selectively. However, the manner in which you're playing them is not at all aggressive. You're not betting and raising and re-raising with them. You're instead limping in pre-flop or calling raises with them, checking them post-flop. Loose passive players are some of the worst poker players that exist. It's impossible to win playing a loose passive style. Passive players rarely win. And loose players, unless they're loose in just the right way and they're loose aggressively, they don't do well either. The single biggest mistake you can make in Hold'em is playing too many hands, and most loose players make that mistake constantly.